Good morning.
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going. How's it going with you?
Good. It's going. Listen, it is colder than a mother-in-law's heart out there, in case y'all are wondering. So, real quick, Jason Riley, thank you so much for my new intro. I absolutely love it. And also, before I go any further, remind you guys that at 12:20, Jamie's dreams are going to come true. He's going to do his TEDx talk. So make sure you guys register for that because I'm super excited to hear it. So, all right. Sarah, welcome back to Sandy Talk Sheet. How are you?
Thanks. I'm awesome. How are you?
Oh, I am good. I'm trying to stay warm. Listen, it is hard to stay warm sometimes. It's only 14 degrees.
It's only 14.
I mean, come on now.
It's a warm 14.
It's a balmy 14 degrees.
Tepid. We got our little
Yes.
palm trees up here. Yeah.
I know. See, that's kind of making us feel Florida-ish, right?
That's right. A little tropical.
Yes.
A little humid.
Yes. So anyway, oh my gosh, you guys. Tell us a little bit about you, Sarah, and why you became a red flag chunky. Because today we're talking about red flags, kids.
Red flags. I should have brought like a red flag to wave.
I know. I'm like, why don't I have one?
Yeah. Well, I've been a true crime junkie for as long as I can remember. I was actually trying to think back, and I was going back to like 5th and 4th grade. Even then, I was a huge fan of true crime. I feel like I bleed true crime stories. And every single one of them, when you hear about them, there's all of these red flags.
Yes.
And from the outside looking in, you think, well, how obvious? Like, duh. Like, are these people stupid? How could they not see those red flags?
Right.
But having experienced some red flags myself, I have just kind of a different perspective now. So it's interesting, kind of coming full circle. And I'm excited to discuss because you have a long list of red flags, don't you?
I do have a long list of red flags. So, okay, listen, you guys. So the reason this even came about was because let's go ahead and thank Jason Collier. Okay.
Yes.
Jason. Yes. If you do not know, right? Not Jason Riley that does my show, Jason Collier. So anyway, if you've been living under a rock or if you just don't like social media, let me tell you a little bit about this. But before we do this, we are not therapists, but we will be discussing real life situations. We do play therapist in real life. And some names may or may not have been changed for privacy reasons. And may or may not, whatever. And if you guys are not in a healthy relationship and you need the National Domestic Violence Hotline, that number is 1-800-787-3224. Guys, we're going to be talking a lot about these red flags. So if they resonate with you, maybe it's time to make the jump or whatever. Okay. You do whatever you want. We're just going to help you.
That is a very good disclaimer.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's recap Jason Collier in case you guys are not familiar with him. He was the chief of police in Stinnett, Texas, and he came on the nation's radar because a girlfriend posted a picture of them together. And her friend says, I know this guy from somewhere. And she goes back and she looks, she says, I'm friends with his wife. And this is where his cookie started to crumble, okay?
And that's not his wife.
Right. Because it was like, she posted like soon to be fiance or something. But anyway, it turns out, okay, and this is all allegedly because I ain't trying to be sued for anything. I'm just telling you what I read, what I heard, because I read a lot of things. He had 5 engagements. He was dating 7 women. Just add all these together. He had 1 wife and 1 ex-wife. And the guy was busy, and I never want to hear any of you men that are on here talking about they don't have time. Jason Stinnett had time to be a full-time chief of police, and he had time to be having all these women, okay?
In Stinnett, though, how busy is it in Stinnett? I don't know.
It's 1,800 people, okay? I looked up the population.
Okay.
1,800. But they were all in different areas. So he would be driving to Kansas on what's the word, on assignment. Like, okay, Stinnett, like, why are you going on assignment to Kansas?
And he's got a lot of official business in Kansas.
Yes. For being a chief of police, he was like almost FBI because he also was telling one that he was in Portland, Oregon on business. Okay. I mean, if y'all don't know by now, these are red flags for me. 'Cause what is the Podunk Town chief of police doing on all those assignments?
In Portland.
In Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, definitely red flag number one.
So that's a red flag. This is just in Jason Collier's life. But anyway, so the reason the man was arrested and he had to resign from his police, it wasn't because he was busy like that. He actually presented a fake annulment papers. And so that's like tampering with government documents, whatever the word is. And anyway, he was bonded out. Don't worry, in case y'all were trying to bond him out, all y'all people that love Jason Collier. He was bonded out. He's currently not speaking to the media. And I read a statement from a lawyer's office that his wife has already filed for divorce. Go Opal, okay? Because Opal, you need to be on my show because there was lots of red flags, and I don't know why you didn't pick up on those. I mean, he was giving away coffee makers and he shipped a ring through FedEx to someone in Lubbock, okay? Ring? Yes, an engagement ring. I mean, how romantic was that?
That's
maybe not Jared's, okay? Maybe Harrod's. He got it at Harrod's. It's knockoff Jared.
Jared's.
Yes. So anyway, okay. Like I said before, we're gonna be talking. I scoured the internet for you people, all these red flags. And then I also did some homework and I asked people to tell me stories. And we're going to be sharing some stories with you guys. And I want you guys to put some red flags in y'all's things that y'all have seen, things that y'all have maybe been a part of. So let's get started. Sarah, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Red flag number one. They can't stop telling you how perfect you are. Okay. And what girl doesn't want to hear that? I mean, yes, I want to hear that I'm perfect and that I'm beautiful and I'm the best thing that's ever happened. Okay. So I feel like that's the grooming process, right? Like you start being groomed. Like this guy loves me. He adores me. And especially if you have like a low self-esteem, I mean, this is going to get to you. This is automatically the butterflies in your stomach. But man, because who doesn't want to be the perfect somebody in someone's eyes, right?
Totally. And I think also, like, if you've been in a relationship with them and then suddenly it's like, if it's out of their character to be complimenting you a lot or kind of going, I think that would definitely be a red flag. It would be harder to tell if it was a new relationship. Maybe that's just the kind of person they are. Maybe they're just really complimentary. But at some point, doesn't that just feel disingenuous, or am I just super untrusting and suspicious?
Well, my thing would be, yes, like at the very first, because you're in your honeymoon phase when you first start dating someone, everybody's on their best behavior. Okay. No one's tooting, no one's snoring. I mean, you're just keeping all that together. So yes, if he tells me how perfect I am, I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, but then if he keeps it up after we've been tooting and snoring, you're like, you know?
That to me, because I've dated guys like that, and it's just it almost creeps me out, for lack of a better, because it just seems very fake. It seems very. What do you?
It is, because
what did you do wrong? Why are you telling me so many nice things?
So Mariah Carey's song would come to mind. Why are you so obsessed with me? Right?
Totally.
Okay. So red flag number 2, and this one, I really didn't understand this one because, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Their sex drive is a much higher or lower than yours. So there's no wrong amount of sex to have, but it's important that you and your partner have a similar libido, or at very least a plan to handle differences. So definitely. One of my girlfriends, and she doesn't mind me telling this because she would probably tell it too. She's an open book. So she has a very high libido. And so she wants her partners to match that. And so her partner that she was with at the time definitely matched it. But whenever she wasn't in the mood, it was an automatic, bam, you're with somebody else. Who were you with? And so it was just because, one day she might have had a headache. And so he was always, that was his first go-to. Like,
maybe she needed to wash her hair or something.
Yeah. Oh, and he was not having it. He was like, why don't you want to? You don't want me anymore. And it's,
That is interesting though. And I can't say that I blame him. If she's just like always on and always ready to go, and then for some reason she's not, I could definitely see where his mind might go there. Like maybe she's tired because she's been doing stuff with other guys.
Right. See,
You know?
but that's a red flag for me, because if you automatically go to assume that I'm cheating, like, well, wait a second. Y'all know the smeller is the feller, right?
The smeller is the feller. That's true. Yeah. Whoever smelt it dealt it.
Yeah, and whoever denied it supplied it. I mean, y'all know. That's for right. Real. So Gabby, good morning. She says, speaking for a friend, when the sex drive changes drastically one day, they want you, then a week later they can't even look at you. You know, I'm right there with you too, because all of a sudden we were so into each other, and then we went a few days, and then because where'd you go for those few days?
That's true. Yeah.
If you weren't getting it here, where were you getting it? Okay.
And again, if you have an established relationship with somebody, those things would be easier to identify. But if it's a new relationship, which I feel like in Jason Collier's case anyways, they were newer relationships,
yes,
and see them consistently. And so, you know, if you are kind of having a long distance relationship with this guy and you only see him every, I don't know, week or 2 weeks, how would you know?
Right. And in that instance, you're exactly right. That would be really hard, because he was juggling lots of women. So, you know, it wasn't like they had an established pattern.
Right. And that's probably how he got away with it for so long. Hi, Jamie.
And he said, I wish I could be on, but I'm participating on something I have to be at. Hey, totally understand. Hey, drop your register here so that people can register for you. Okay. So red flag number 3. They push your physical boundaries in innocent ways. So this one, I kind of had to dig for this one. So it kind of says, does your new babe refuse to stop tickling you when you tell them to knock it off? Do they continue to touch you in seemingly innocent ways, like hugs, shoulder rubs, or even repeatedly poking you in the arm like a sibling when you ask for personal space? This might be a sign they don't respect your right to your own body and could try to push those boundaries to much more dangerous limits in the future. So this one was like a one that I had not really heard before. No. So I was just kind of like, okay, this makes a lot of sense, because it's not a common one. So Jamie, he hopped on late. So we are discussing red flags and cheaters and everything in between. And he said, hi, Sarah, it's Jamie. I don't know what he's trying to say right there.
I know, it looks like, Jamie.
It looks like Jamie right there to me. So yes, and I'm trying to think. I've never personally had this situation. Sarah, I don't know if you know anybody that's been in this situation, but I guess it happens.
It does. Well, and that's a really, like, you saw me, my brain exploded.
Yes.
I definitely see the connections. That's not one I ever would have thought of. I definitely have been in relationships before where I even said that I don't feel like you're respecting my body.
Oh, wow.
Because it was just like really, rough tickling and really just in general, just not respecting this, right. Or almost using it like it was their own plaything.
Their own playground.
That sounds a little tawdry. Right. But that makes total sense. How if they don't have that respect, that could translate later to infidelity or whatever. Or maybe that's just their general
love language.
Yeah, maybe that's just their general thought of anyone of the opposite sex. I mean, maybe they don't respect anybody. You know what I'm saying? Even with girls. I know girls do that same thing with men. They just see them as a thing. Men got feelings too.
Right. And see, that's
not always just
too. That's what I should have said too. This isn't just like women doing this, or this isn't just men doing this. This is both. Both of y'all act a fool. Both of y'all crazy, because there's equally crazy. Okay. And I might say that women are a little bit crazier. Don't come at me, bruh. But I'm just speaking the truth, because y'all know y'all women are crazy. Y'all do.
Yes.
Y'all are.
Yeah. Y'all acting like y'all are pregnant when y'all aren't, and y'all are acting fool, being crazy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. You know how many stories are about that? How about the women that stalk the pregnant women and then cut the babies out? How about that? Because y'all are crazy. You never hear of a man doing that. You never hear it.
No, that's true. Because they're not. Because they don't want kids that bad.
They don't. And I just watched one where she was so crazy in love with this guy that she killed her own kids. He's like, I don't want kids. I had a vasectomy because I didn't want kids. So she shot her own kids. Okay. Women, quit being crazy. Quit being crazy.
Though, there was never a Dateline without a crazy woman.
Yes. And like Sarah and I were talking about beforehand, all of these Dateline stories, all of these news stories, these murders, there was red flags. You just chose to ignore them.
That's right. Every single one.
Okay. So number 4, they rush a new relationship forward too quickly. Oh my gosh. Let me say this again, louder in the back. Okay. They rush a new relationship forward too quickly. They're either on the rebound, practicing a particularly toxic version of serial monogamy, or a malignant narcissist. Either way, don't do it.
Ooh.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
My example for this is a friend of mine. She started dating this guy. I mean, real winner from the get-go. And 3 months in, he was like ready to be married. 3 months into the relationship. And luckily, she's a little slow, and she'll let me say that because I can say that. But she didn't marry him. She didn't marry him.
Okay.
But anyway, so Jamie is saying, I so wish I was on. I know, Jamie, you could have been doing so good. And
women be crazy.
They do. It's so true. And then this one, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. That's so true.
I know that's right.
So women, they no one can know you well enough. You don't, I mean, even after a year of dating, you still don't know a person well enough. I mean, of course I was engaged for a year before I got married, but still I didn't know him well enough to be marrying the guy.
Yeah. But, and I'm not even gonna say I dated him. I knew a guy. He was kind of like a friend of a friend, lived in the Dallas area. Like when we met, like I was dating somebody, like the minute I broke up, like the minute he saw that like relationship status change on Facebook, he was like messaging me and he was like, come to Dallas and like you can see like this mutual friend that we had and we can hang out. And he was a nice guy. It was like, all right, maybe. And then it just went from like 0 to 100. Like we were messaging on Facebook and all of a sudden he's like, what are your favorite things to eat? I'm going to go to Trader Joe's and like stock my house with all your favorite foods. And I was like, so we started we called him Too Much Too Soon guy. Like that was his name. That
was in your phone contact.
Too Much Too Soon guy. And like it was really awkward because he was like straight up ready to wife me. And I'm like, man, we like we had gone on like a trip for this mutual friend's wedding. She had a destination wedding. So we had like spent a little bit of time on like the cruise ship together, but like it wasn't anything. And he was legit ready for me to like move in and meet his mom. And I'm like, all right, my man. I lied and said I got a speeding ticket and I couldn't afford to go to Dallas. And then I just ghosted them.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
And then he came to town on like for work and like was like kind of harassing me. I don't know. He was kind of harassing me. Like wanted to know where I lived. He wanted to come see me. I'm like, this is weird. This is weird. But he was just like ready to be a husband, I guess. But not with me. So guys do it too.
Oh,
that's
for sure.
Red flag. Huge.
Yeah. So let me tell you this one. So when I was on the dating scene, there was this guy that I'd met, and there's the long story behind it, but y'all quit being nosy. I'll tell y'all later if I want to tell you. So he actually was like, because he was a lot older than I was, and he already had 2 grown sons, and he was like, hey, I want to have a daughter. And I'm like, okay, you do that. And he was like, no, I want us. And I mean, guys, I'm not even kidding you when I tell you, he bought me an engagement ring set. And I didn't know what to do. I'm not even kidding. I did not know what to do with it. So I wore them on my thumb because they were really pretty thumb rings. But I was like, how do I get out of this? So anyway.
You wore them on your thumb.
I did. I was like, thanks.
These are beautiful thumb rings.
These are beautiful thumb rings.
I hope you get your daughter one day.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't have kids. Because some of y'all men have used that card too, so quit playing. Okay, let me get to some of these comments real quick. So Anita says, I guess the old saying is true, love is blind. Women can be so gullible. Yes. And I think that has a lot to do if you're lonely, if you just got out of a horrible relationship and someone just starts to tell you all these beautiful things, for sure.
Yeah.
Jason says it's scary. Very scary, Jason, for sure.
Yes.
Jamie says you don't know you're a killer until you kill someone. That's true. I think we all have the potential.
Do you not? Do you not?
Right.
I guess maybe for some of us.
Well, he did say mostly. He did say mostly. And Jason said, wow. So anyway, okay. So if they rush into a relationship forward too quickly, pump the brakes, kids. Pump the brakes. Okay.
Because why are they so eager to get into a relationship with you
Mhm.
when they don't even know you? Why?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't.
Maybe they
I
want to
would,
wear your
okay.
skin.
I would not even exactly. Thank you, Ed Gein, Leatherface.
That's
But okay, ready for this one? Number 5, and this is, guys, this is huge. They try to drive a wedge between you and your family and your friends. Okay, this is a huge red flag. Anyone who wants you all to themselves is likely worth running away from, because you allow this to happen once. Like, oh, I don't like your friend. And then, oh, I don't like this person. Oh, I don't want to be around this. And it just is going to be continuous. It's never going to end. They're never going to be pleased until they have pulled you completely away from your family and friends. And so, huge red flag, people.
Huge red flag if it's a friend too. A friend who does that. A friend who tries to separate you from your spouse. A friend who tries to separate you from your other friends. What are they doing?
Right. So let me give you an instance in this. Girlfriend of mine, we would have to go out of town for business meetings. And so he would forbid her to go out of town for business meetings. And it interfered. So, okay. So some of these were totally optional. Actually, all of them were optional. Some people just can't go out of town. Some people couldn't get out, but she could get out of town, and he would tell her, you're not going. And so they would have this huge blowout fight. It occasionally did get physical, and it would get to throwing fits because she went out or would try to go out. I mean, I'm talking about, we would have a girls' night, and this had been going on all the way up until she met him, and then she quit going to girls' night because he forbid it. So, huge red flag when you are told you can't go somewhere that you've done your whole life.
Yeah. And if somebody's trying to claim that they're just, I just like to stay at home, I just want to be here with you, that's just a big old load of bull.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can be a homebody too, but I'm not trying to tell somebody they can't go hang out with their friends. That's,
right.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag. And a lot of the times, people who do that, people who do try to drive that wedge, is because there's something seriously wrong with them, and they're not able to assimilate into social situations normally. And they don't want their significant other to see that. They don't want to go out and see, like, nobody really likes them because they're not likable. Right. Or right. They don't get along with people, things like that. They don't want their significant other to see that.
Yes. And so in this instance, you had a social butterfly, and you had the biggest introvert that the world had ever met. And he was only used to his circle. Well, all of her circle was just as loud and crazy as her. And he did not like it. He did not appreciate it. And he would go, and we're going to touch into this one, but he would go into different things. So listen, they try to drive a wedge between you, your family, and your friends, or they never want to be around them. And it's not because they love you. I promise that. It's not because they love you. It's because they want to, here it is, control you. And there's a difference in love and control. And they're not together. It's not synonymous. So Jamie says, contrary to popular opinion, psychosociopaths are not all murderers. This is true.
That's very true.
And Gabby says, I'll admit I ignored that red flag in my past. I could never let it happen again. I wasn't allowed to have family time unless it was okay with him, but we were always with his family. So, man. And the thing is, okay, so like we said, you feel like that person loves you. You feel like they're doing it because they love you. So you're like, oh my God, he just wants to be with me. But then you kind of start peeling back the curtains, and you're like, wait a second, that's an issue for me.
Yeah.
And Jamie says, I'm sorry, who is Sarah C? Jamie, get out of here.
Was that a response to me calling him Jamie instead of Jaime?
Yeah, probably. Yes.
I'm sorry, Jaime.
Right. And Minnie, good morning. She said, it's not love, it's control. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Nobody would do that to you. There's just nothing about it. And Jamie said, yo, Scouts, did you do the 1 and the 2? He did. You should see all the things that he did for the show.
Okay. Aren't those cool? Oh wait, it's over here.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, right. Oh man, I suck. I don't know. Yes, he did these,
Oh, I
the
know.
1 and the 2. Okay, so ready for number 6. And this one was really weird for me, but this appeared, this popped up in a couple of them, and it says they roll their eyes at you a lot. And so I had to look this up. It said research has shown that among married couples, rolling eyes at each other can be a common predictor of divorce. And why wouldn't it be? Mutual respect is a major foundation of a happy relationship, and nobody you frequently roll your eyes at has much respect. And I thought, really? And so I'm
I
like,
don't know.
Eric, do you roll your eyes at me? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, because I roll my eyes at you a lot.
Yeah, I roll my eyes at Jeremiah a lot.
I don't know why, but yeah, I just do.
That one's a
I roll
little
my eyes
wishy.
at my I know, but I thought I would throw that in there just in case. Like if you're in a new relationship and the guy's already rolling his eyes, you're in your honeymoon period. No one's supposed to be rolling your eyes at you, right?
That is true. And I definitely feel like rolling your eyes at someone could be a form of gaslighting. Like if one person is rolling their eyes at the other one, it's just a very subtle implication that they're crazy or whatever they're saying isn't true. Like if somebody says, well, you stayed out really late with the guys. What did you do? And he's like, oh, whatever. It was no big deal. That could maybe be a form of gaslighting. So I guess. But to say that if you roll your eyes at your spouse, you're going to get divorced is a little, then I'm in trouble because I roll my eyes all day, every day. At
Exactly.
my kids and my husband. So.
I live rolling my eyes. I'm like, oh my God. Like, especially when he tells me, oh, I can't find it. And I'm like, like just insert all these cuss words.
Like the headphones. Babe, I don't know where the headphones are. Sure you don't.
And then you're like, okay. So Jamie says, no, seriously, how did she get on the show? So I invited her and she was on the show once before. And then let's see.
Jaime, we're friends on Facebook.
I know you're friends with her on Facebook, Jamie. I now realize, anyway, ask for seriousness. It will sound like I have attitude. SMH, forget my life.
Oh.
I don't know what Jamie's saying. So then, okay. So Anita says, hashtag Jenny Rivera, hashtag still hate Trino. Okay, so I have not watched this, but I have seen a lot of my friends that are watching this documentary about this lady's life. She was a very popular Mexican singer, and she apparently had a very, very domestic violence. She should have called the domestic violence number because and then he ended up like sexually abusing one of her daughters and her sister. I mean, the guy was sick and he's in prison for several years. Anyway, so she's since died. And so they're doing this documentary about her life. But everybody that I said, I mean, that I've seen watch this is he, I guess, beat her up, called her all sorts of he basically should have been on the show because of all the red flags that he
y'all post the name of it because I've seen people talking about it too and I didn't know what they were talking about. I swore I was like, is this a novella that I don't watch? I don't know.
Right.
So
no,
I would like
it's a true one. Yeah, it's totally true. Okay, so Jamie says, where were these taken from Mexican Black Marrieds? Just saying. I don't know.
I don't know why people be crazy too.
I know. Right. Let's see, because last time I rolled him, a chancla almost came. Oh my, OMG, Sarah, please describe gaslighting. I hear that all the time. No idea what it means.
Oh,
okay.
Really? Okay, well, gaslighting is a form of manipulation. So, oh man, I wasn't ready to give like a Merriam-Webster definition.
So kind of what I get of gaslighting is they make you feel like you're crazy. Like, so they went out and did something and then you try to call them out on it and they're like, no, you're just insecure. I mean, they make you feel like you're the one who's crazy when they went out and did something that they weren't supposed to do.
Yes.
And so
it's a huge form of manipulation. It is a huge red flag. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely, the whole point, the person who is gaslighting the other person is to make them feel like they're crazy, make them feel like they're imagining things, making them feel like it's their fault and that the person they're accusing is actually the victim. And it's really common and it's really scary. When I feel like everybody maybe does it a little bit, but I think that is why it's so dangerous because the person who is gaslighting the other person sometimes doesn't even realize they're doing it. And it just becomes a common tone in their relationship. It's really dangerous.
Yes, it is.
It's a form of psychological abuse where a person or group makes someone question their sanity, perception of reality, or memories. It's based off a movie. There's an old movie.
Yeah. So I mean, it seriously is really like Minnie says, it's toxic, and
Toxic.
and so like we laugh because there's all sorts of things that are coming out on toxic people, and then just stuff like that. But in Spanish it's tóxico or la tóxica. If you ever see any of that, what that means is because she's toxic or he's toxic. So okay, so what does Jamie say? Hold on. Make you feel like I'm cray cray, Sarah. Joe and Sandy gaslight me every week between Monday and Wednesday. I show mouth, girl.
Jaime, we're gonna post the number down here. So you can call.
Yeah. So scroll up. We have the domestic violence number posted in case you
not
need
to make
it.
light of domestic violence. I'm really
No, not at all.
At all. I'm just teasing Jaime.
Okay, so number 7. My gosh, we still have plenty to go. Number 7, they describe all their exes as crazy. Some relationships end so badly that they're still sour at an ex like 2 or 3 years down the road. But if your partner spews saying that they're crazy, I mean, I always say there has to be a common denominator. Like if you've gone through all these breakups, maybe it's not them, it's you.
You are the common factor in these.
Yes. Because okay, so some women do pick them all crazy.
That's true.
You go through, you have a pattern. One of my girlfriends, I tell him, all of your choices are cookie cutters because they all look alike. They all act the same. I mean, hers were cookie cutters. And I'm like, in that instance, they were all crazy. Oh my gosh. Who's in here? Welcome to the jungle. Did you mean to pop in here? Okay, we can't hear you. You're muted. So while he fixes that, let's see this. Minnie says they also target young women and women with low self-esteem. Oh, for sure. 100%.
Yes.
100% sure on that.
And even men too. I mean, sometimes you see women with, these men and women don't really seem to be in the same realm. Maybe they aren't, one's not as attractive as the other. Maybe one is wealthy, the other one's not. And women do it too. They will
for sure.
Men who they can easily manipulate and they can easily control and kind of, like you said, cookie cutter form into what they want them to be. I feel like that's almost more common, or maybe it just lasts longer because the men are okay with it.
Right. So I watched one, I don't know if y'all like to watch Fatal Vows. I do. And the lady was, she married a guy. They'd both been divorced a couple of times, had their own kids. And then she ended up marrying this other guy, and their marriage wasn't working out. They were going through financial issues. Well, she starts having an affair with the handyman, and her and the handyman are really having a great time. So she wants the handyman to leave his wife for her. Handyman ends up killing her husband, but doesn't leave his wife to go with her. And then so she moves on and goes and marries this firefighter. Anyway, the firefighter ends up dead, and the handyman still won't go be with her. And I mean, okay, women, he was never going to leave his wife. They've been married for 15 years. He was never going to leave her. Anyway, so she ends up going to prison for, Black Widow, obviously, but still. Yeah. Women are crazy. Oh, Monica is saying, Sarah, where are you? I just want to come be in the show. Come on, Monica.
I'm at Market Street.
So here is the name of the show. It's on Netflix, Mariposa de Barrio.
De Barrio. Okay, I'll look for it. Thank you.
Watch it. Look,
Monica's
so Jamie
got some red flags she could throw in here too.
Monica, do it. See, she kicked me off. She didn't want me to share my story of how they make me feel crazy. Boy, see, you're trying to gaslight me now. See, perfect example of gaslighting. Thank you, Jamie. Okay, so number 8, they call you names in arguments. Huge red flag.
Ooh, yeah.
Because this other friend of mine, anytime that they would get into a fight, she was automatically a bitch, and he wouldn't get her off from a 2-bit, just always something that he would never call her otherwise.
Why is that not number 1? That should be number 1 red flag.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do these in any particular order just because I feel like they all deserved.
Because you had 50 of them.
Yeah, because I have 50 of them to go through. Johnny
You just
Cash
shuffle
came in
them.
here. Yeah, he's trying to get my attention. So, but anyway, yes, if they call you names, guys, that is so disrespectful,
Yeah.
and you don't resolve anything. And in fact, you actually make it worse. You know, don't call anybody names, man or woman, because you can cut low when you say things like this. And this is where fights break out. This is where the physical gets. Because let me tell you, I know firsthand when you say something, you might get punched. Okay. Happen. I can tell you that from personal experience. You say things and you get hit. Okay. That's where it happens, where it starts. So
It is.
Monica says they contact your best friend and see if they are out so they don't get caught.
Oh.
Wow. Nice. They do
Good one,
they
Monica.
go around you. They go around you, yeah, to see what you're doing.
Mhm.
So, okay. Number 9. And this one is kind of iffy, but I wanted to throw it in there just in case. And actually, I do, now that I say this, number 9, they have no work ethic. Okay. Because someone that I know hopped into a relationship and just quit working. They quit working so that they could support them. And so they live off of their, what was just, you know, a boyfriend, girlfriend sitch. And then all of a sudden they're moving in together because she's not working or he's not working. Or, you know, could happen both ways. And so that's it. They have no work ethic. And so people do that. They move from relationship to relationship to see who can support them and how long that they'll tolerate them for. So that's a red
some
flag.
People will do that for their entire life. And I don't understand that. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you sitting on the couch not doing anything? I know a girl like that who's it's very like upper crusty, like a waspy version of that. She really just wants to be a trophy wife. And she's just like, she thinks that that's what she deserves, even though I don't think she would ever admit that. She may not even realize that, but that's what she deserves. That's what she expects. And so she rushes these relationships, and like within like a month is always like she's in love and she's going to marry this man. It's like, girl, nobody owes you the white picket fence and like the big jewelry and the garden parties. Like that, you're not owed that. Like, go get your own job, get your own life.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll find a good guy, but like they always end. Like within 6 months they end, and it's like so much drama.
Yeah.
Toxic.
And see, that's the whole thing with that too is in this particular one that I know from a long time ago, long time ago. She had all the red flags, you know, and yeah, she quit working and has never held down a job. Like, to me, if we're in a relationship, and this is just my personal opinion, man, we're both building our empire together. I'm working, and then if he says, hey, you know what, we're gonna get serious, like I can afford for you not to work, I mean, that's a different story, but you guys are both working on it. It's teamwork. Why does it always have to be one and the other one's a moocher? So guys, if they had a job and then just because y'all got together and they quit their jobs, might be a red flag.
Stop, cut it. That's right.
Yeah, you know what? At my stage in life, if I wasn't married, I'm not supporting anybody. This is my money. I work hard for my money. Just
my money is my money, and some of your money is my money too.
Exactly.
Okay? And we're doing this together. I'm buying you groceries. You're paying my rent. Like, we're doing this together. But yeah, one like that Fatal Vows that we did the show on a few months ago. Same thing. What's his name? That was really a woman.
Yes.
Just stopped and would sit in the break room at his girlfriend's job and just watch her.
Yes, that was crazy, right? That's exactly one of those, because, okay, so here, red flag, he wasn't working when y'all met, and then he never worked. He was injured, and then he never worked, and yet y'all never had anything because you were too busy supporting, but never had any money. You lost everything that you ever had, and he also too pulled her away from her family. I mean, the further they could move out, the better off they were, or so they thought, you know?
Yeah. And
so
some people really want to sell that whole living on love thing. No, man, you can't be living on love. You need money. You need insurance.
Yes.
You need a support system. You need a car. You need these things. And love.
Yes.
They all go together.
Yes. So Gabby says, my ex cheated on me. He met the girl at the bar the day I was picking out my wedding dress with our families. 2 years later, they broke up because she wouldn't work. She wanted to spend all the money and refused to get her GED after he paid for it. I'm not saying karma, but crazy how that works.
Ooh, Gabby, I'm sorry.
Gabby, you're breaking my heart, girl. My gosh. But you know what?
sucks.
Better that it happened before the wedding. Because, how many people go through with the sham of a wedding? You spend all this money on this wedding and then for them to do that to you, come on.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
That's hard, but 100% karma, because ain't nothing wrong with calling out a homewrecker. All right. And you can just keep an eye on that girl until you see karma follow her all the way down back into that little rat nest that she crawled out of.
Yep. True that. Oh, okay. Jamie, Sarah, see, I just realized you're Contreras. You're such a great guest. Oh, that's a red flag right there. If you don't remember past guests.
Jaime, we're friends on Facebook.
Yes, please realize that. She was so happy for your TED Talk. And now she's not even going to watch it. Not even going to watch it. Not participating.
I might be busy.
Right. She might be busy later. Okay. So number 10, they're cruel to their parents. Man, and I've always said this, you guys. I've always said how he treats his mama is an indicator of how he will treat you. Because typically males love their mamas. Typically.
Yes.
Sometimes there is some issues that go on, but they're, and if he treats his mama like crap, girl, get in line. Because he's going to treat you like crap. Okay. And yeah, I just don't have any more to say on that.
If you don't have a good relationship with your parents, why are you treating them like crap?
Exactly.
As an adult, as another adult, if you don't get along with them, okay, why are you going the next step to be crappy to them? That I agree. A huge red flag.
Because you could have had a bad childhood, and I get that, and I get that you don't want to, for sure, I get all of that, I get all those dynamics. But like you said, Sarah, exactly. If you're elevating yourself and you're going the extra mile to be a crappy human being to them,
that's a major unchecked drama and aggression that is just going to bleed over into your relationship.
And I go ahead and recommend therapy for that. Oh my gosh. Speaking of therapy, and if you are just dating someone and you require a couples therapy, and I say that because I know someone that did do that. I mean, they went to therapy.
No, man.
If you already need therapy in your dating life, it's not going to work.
Let's add that to the list of red flags.
Yes, add that. That's number 10A. That's 10A. Okay, ready for this one. This is a good one. Their attitude changes on a dime. Okay. Okay, so this is the explanation. Do they spend an entire day being cruel to you and nearly pushing you to your emotional limit, then abruptly turn on the charm with zero explanation or an apology, only to switch back into monster mode as soon as you trust their good mood? This is a cycle to bolt away, okay? And this one friend of mine, this was the exact same what happened. She was not allowed to go out of town. They would fight. And then once she conceded and didn't get to go anywhere, then he was good. Then all was well. Now we're going to go to dinner because you compromised and did what I told you to do. So
that's creepy. Almost like they feel bad maybe for acting like that.
Oh,
I don't know though.
No, this guy had no, he never felt bad.
It was all calculated.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. Hi, David. Thank you for hopping on here. Hope you're well. Okay. And this one is really weird to me too. But it says, this is number 12. They're on a different sleep schedule than you are. And I'm like, what does that mean? So if you're on it, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Huge red flag.
Tell me.
Yes. That is a red flag I have experienced. Well, for one thing, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you're living together. I mean, sleeping together, like even just sleeping next to each other, that's like an intimate thing. It's like part of your relationship. If that person isn't wanting to sleep in the bed next to you, that is a huge red flag. Also, why are they staying up or getting up earlier than you? Why are they not sleeping when you're sleeping? What are they doing?
Yes.
Probably not anything good. Are they talking to somebody else? Are they sneaking out to go see somebody else? Are they even if it's not like another, like if a guy's not sneaking out to go see a girl, even if he's going to hang out with his buddies, why? Why
Right.
does he need to have this separate life
Yes.
away from the life that he has with you? Huge red flag, and definitely something that needs to be confronted. Like, and why are you doing that?
Right. For
Stop
sure.
doing that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
That is
I'm
when
with
I
you.
have experienced separate sleep cycles of like, well, it's 11 o'clock. I have to work in the morning. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Oh, I'm not tired. As they're like, their eyes are rolling back. I'm not
Right.
tired. I'm going to stay up. I'm going to stay up and watch a movie. It's like,
Okay,
why?
I'm with you. That totally makes
Yeah.
sense because it didn't at first. And I was like, well, I'm just going to throw it in there. Maybe someone has experienced that.
Mhm.
Hello, Derek. How are you?
Hi, Derek.
And number 13, they're secretive about little things. And this one really wasn't like, because I mean, I don't know. I guess you can have secrets. I mean, I don't know. What would you be secretive about? I mean,
I guess it
maybe
would
like where you're going.
Maybe. I don't know. I think little things is just so random. But at the same time, why do you need to be secretive about little things?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
why do I need to like go home and lie about like what I got from Starbucks? Or why do I need to lie about like how busy the store was? I mean, like, I guess
Yeah.
like little things like that add up maybe. Or honestly, if you're comfortable lying about anything, you're comfortable lying about everything.
Through that, because you can make up something on a dime, Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so let's see. Says you're describing me, Sarah, but we good, promise. I have no idea what Jamie's talking about. Anita says J-Lo and A-Rod are already going through marriage therapy while they make arrangements for their wedding. I hear A-Rod is already cheating. Okay, so in this instance, they have such a public relationship, and yes, I listen to Kid Craddock in the morning sometimes, and I did hear that some woman spoke out against it, but they live together, right? So this is not a newish relationship. That
they've been together for a while.
Yeah, they've been together for a while. But the thing is he's been known as a cheater.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this isn't his first rodeo for sure. And here's this one. They cheated on their last partner with you. Okay. Listen, you put that out there in the universe. You did it. And I know a person that was married. Okay. They were a couple. And then he had a mistress. Well, then he divorced his wife, married the mistress. And then he acquired another mistress, divorced the person, and then married his new mistress. Okay. This is a cycle. It's a cycle. This is a red flag. If they cheated on you, or they cheated and they cheated with you. So, I mean, yeah, don't be mad.
And I think that's when that nobody wants to accept like if they're cheating with their significant other with you, like it's easy for you to convince yourself like, oh, but this is different.
Right.
But it's really not.
Like, okay, so here's something funny that I always like to see. Women, when you pray for a man, the Lord's not going to give you a married man, okay? He's just not going to do that. Okay? So just FYI. So keep looking. Keep looking.
Yeah, keep going.
Keep going.
Look a little harder.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so they demand your phone, email, and social media passwords.
Oh, that's weird.
That's weird. Like, we're dating. I'm not going to give you that. I'm sorry. I mean, and now, Eric knows all my passwords because I can't remember anything. I mean, that's, I'm like, here, can you do this for me? Like, I'm not worried about that because we're married and we've been married for 100 years, seems like. But if you're just dating and they're already demanding these things, or if they want, oh my gosh, dare I say it? And don't come at me, but y'all people that have the same Facebook, the joints account. That's a red flag for me. Okay. I feel like, in my opinion, that somebody was cheating, and so we can't be trusted. So we're going to have some doubleness. Okay.
I don't understand the joint accounts either.
I don't either.
It's very confusing to figure out who's posting.
Who do I wish a happy birthday to, him or her? I don't know. I stay confused.
Yeah,
no.
I don't understand that one either.
Okay, guys. Okay, so I'm going to get to some stories. Okay, I still have several flags to go over, but we don't have enough time in the world. So what I did is I posted in a group. I'm like, give me all your red flags, give me all your stories. And guys, I got some really good red flags. Some were just really funny. Nicole shared with me. So I was dating a guy for a little over a year. And one night he just randomly pulled a new sex move on me. She said, red flag, and I was right.
Yes.
So, I mean, okay.
Where'd you learn that? Where are you getting that move from?
Exactly. And she also made sure to put in there, he said, he didn't watch porn at the time that they were. So she said he couldn't have learned that.
Maybe
so
he Googled it.
Hilarious. Yeah, Googled it. Maybe
watching some YouTube videos.
Yeah, he did. He had to have. And so this one girl, her name was, let me see, Amber. And Amber said, this was her own words, I literally ignored all the red flags, then accepted said red flags because he kept convincing me that he loved me. She said, WTF, man, I'm dumb AF. These are her words, not mine. And she owned it. She totally owned it. Yeah. And she said, I met this guy on Facebook dating and he was in rehab, but I give everyone a chance. Okay, so not just everybody that's in rehab is a red flag. We go through things, okay? She said, he seemed like a great guy who had made bad choices like all of us. She said, mine was him. He got to the point where he could move out of rehab and he needed a place to live. So she offered him to live with her, and it went well for a while. He did have a job while in rehab. He was allowed to go. So he went out to work. And eventually he just started being on his phone more and more. And then he started hiding him being on the phone more and more. So one day she saw a message from a girl that he'd never mentioned. And anyway, so she believed that they were just friends. And so he didn't have a driver's license. So she would take him to recovery meetings. And it wasn't really the meetings. She was dropping him off with the girlfriend.
Oh, no.
And she had no idea. So then later on, he said he went to go visit a friend and she took him again and said, pick me up in 2 hours. And one night he didn't wake up for that 2-hour visit. So he ended up relapsing. He was doing stuff with that girl. But anyway, she just said, I ignored all the red flags. I was actually taking him to cheat on me. So, yeah.
Well, and I mean, we do. We ignore red flags. When we love somebody, we ignore red flags. When we, when you're praying for somebody, when you're hoping for the best, you think you just need to trust them. It happens. I mean, does it make you an idiot? Maybe. I mean, does everybody have moments of stupidity? Yes.
For sure.
Hindsight is 20/20. It doesn't mean that. I feel like when that, like what she's saying, like she's like, I'm the biggest idiot ever. I was like taking him to cheat on me, girl. It's all right. You're not the one who cheated. Like you pick yourself back up. You keep going because it's easy to like get down on yourself. Like you didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't wrong of her to trust him. It wasn't wrong of her to try to help him. She thought she was taking him to recovery. That's messed up.
See, and that's the thing. That's the thing too. There's people that are helpers and they want to help so much, and they feel like, and I'm sure she felt like she was helping him, but not realizing that she was helping him hurt her.
Yeah, he took advantage of that.
He took advantage.
He took advantage of her trust.
Yeah, he was sorry about that. Derek says joint account equals codependent. Or someone.
Derek, how many people do you know that have a joint account? How many of your friends have a joint account?
Yeah, Derek, we're going to wait for you to put in the comments. Go look at that. So Danny says, not posting anything about me. She said, but staying out the house at his mom's, going to the gym more. After he nearly killed me, I found out he had a whole different life. She said, had a different name, another girlfriend, lied about stuff he told me, and he also had small man syndrome. So I'm like, he tried to kill you? I said, why did he try to kill you? I have so many questions. So she says, he held me hostage at knife point one time. He beat me up and fractured one side of my face. The other time, he was so controlling, mentally, physically, and emotionally abused me.
Wow.
And I'm like, I just told her, I said, I'm so glad that you made it out alive. because a lot of people don't have that outcome. Okay. And so here's the thing. She was doing nothing wrong. It was all him, you know?
Yeah. And just because there are red flags, and just because you choose to ignore the red flags, does not mean that it is okay for, I mean, obviously it's not okay for somebody to do that to you, but even though this is what we always see on Dateline, that is such a huge jump. Like, to go from cheating on somebody or just manipulating them, controlling them, to go from that to some sort of extreme physical or emotional abuse is just, that's just so extreme. I could be the biggest idiot on the planet and let everybody in the world cheat on me and take advantage of me, but to take that huge leap over to like abusing me, holding me hostage, like breaking my face, people, if you are, people, get out.
Scroll up. I posted the number. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
This one is really crazy. So some more stories that were shared saying I love you when they barely know you, asking for things that involve money too often, yelling, screaming while angry, not letting you be friendly to males in public areas, such as the bar to be exact, accusing you of cheating. Biggest red effing flag. The last one ain't even a flag. It's a whole last siren. Found out you were being cheated on. F and Facebook Messenger, log that into your own app. Also, Google tracks everything, locations, times. She said, I'm exhausted even writing this because, so this was the relationship that she was in. And she's so right. Let me tell you this one story about this one. They were at a store and they were getting, and the personality of this girl talks to everybody, has never met a stranger. She will listen to you and only you. Just super focused on you. That doesn't mean she wants you. She just means she's personable and can hold a conversation. So the guy that she was dating was like, so they'd been there a few hours and then they ended up leaving. And as soon as they got into the car, he pulls a weapon out, puts it in between them and says, I don't appreciate you flirting. She was like, I wasn't even flirting. This was just a conversation that I was having. Man, let me tell you, this guy was, disturbing to say the least. Like, guys, that's a huge red flag. They don't love you. Yeah. I'm sorry. That is not love. No. Love does not do that to you. I'm sorry.
No. Even if she was flirting, even if she made out with another guy, he doesn't get to put a weapon in between them and threaten her with that. No. Regardless of what she's done. That is never okay.
It is never okay. Never okay. Yeah. Ooh, and I promise you guys, not love. It is not love. It is not cutesy to be that jealous, rage-filled person. It's not, because at first you're like, oh my gosh, it's because he really wants me.
So
no, he
passionate.
Doesn't. Yeah, exactly. No, it's controlling. Y'all are too old for that, okay?
And me and Sandy will straight up come to your house and talk to that person, right. Man or woman.
Listen. Not gonna happen. So anyway, this one lady said, I was with a real winner for 10 years. I know now that he used to tell on himself. He was so narcissistic that he would bring up the names of girls he was cheating on me with. One was a coworker he swore was just a friend. He told me how unattractive she was, that he would never cheat on me with someone like that. Meanwhile, I was dropping him off at her house for guys' night, never knowing the difference. He ended up getting her pregnant, and she gave birth to their child 10 days after I gave birth to our twins. Oh. I never knew anything until I had my twins. She called him while I was in the hospital to tell him she hated him, and he never heard from her again.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, like, it's one of those things that, so like, had she questioned him, like, where are you going? Who's this guy? I don't know. Would she have been considered crazy?
Yes, she would have been.
Yeah.
And he would have gaslighted her, and then she would have felt bad about herself for not trusting him.
Yes. Yeah. And this is a really good point, Minnie. And I'm going to say this, and it's probably not going to be an unpopular opinion. One man should never lay a hand on a woman. And I'm with you on that. In return, a woman should never lay a hand on a man, because I feel like once you do, you're just saying, come at me. And you just don't do that. You don't get physical. You don't put your hands on anybody, man or woman. You just don't, because you can piss someone off enough. And I've seen women that are just like, yeah, hit me. One day it's going to happen. You're going to get hit. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to call the police and report him for hitting you. But he didn't do it because it's not a masculine thing to do, right?
Yeah. No, physical abuse, that has no place in any sort of healthy relationship. No place.
Right.
Ever.
Right. Sarah, I have so many more red flags to go. We're going to have to do a part 2. We're going to have to do a part 2. Because
maybe Jason Collier will be our guest. Maybe.
Hey, he did call me. I don't know if y'all saw that on my Facebook. He did call me.
Jason.
Yeah, Jason Collier, if you can hear us. And there was a Jason Collier that was arrested. He was actually trying to get with the 14-year-old, but it was different Jason Collier.
I saw that too. Oh, man, it's been busy for Jason Colliers around this country.
21 is not good for Jason Colliers. Anyway, guys, I have really enjoyed this. If you want a part 2, put that in the comments. If you're watching us on the replay, let me know. Because Sarah, we need to do a part 2 because I still have so many more flags. We have so many more flags to go over.
And I feel like we definitely have a lot of people that were watching that can throw in their own stories, and we can.
I want to, yeah, Monica, I'm intrigued. I want to know more.
Oh, Monica could tell some stories, man. Me and Monica go way back.
I love it, Monica. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Jason, thanks again for my new intro. Sarah, don't hop off just yet. We're going to sign off and come back with you in just a minute. Remember, guys, we'll be back next Saturday. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Y'all know I'm a procrastinator. I'm going to wait till the last freaking minute to do this. But anyway, hit the heart button. Tell me if you're watching on the replay. And remember, let's keep talking sheet. Y'all have a good one.